Genesis 25. The butt babies are back! We're gonna say goodbye to Abraham, and you're about to witness the most expensive stew ever made. Abraham had taken another wife, whose name was Keturah. Well, that was a quick turnaround. Sarah dies, and then a couple chapters later, Abraham is already married. Where did he meet her? Who is she? Does she know that Abraham might commit murder if the voice in his head tells him to do it? No, seriously, where did he meet her? Did he meet her locally? Because that would probably make her a Canaanite, and the last chapter was all about why Abraham's son Isaac wasn't allowed to marry a Canaanite. And if she's not local, seriously, how did he meet her? And how is Abraham still so active? He's been talking about being too old for decades now. Anyway, Keturah does not matter. As with just about all the women in the Bible, all that matters is what comes out of them. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, the Letushites, and the Leumites. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanuk, Abida, and Eldaah. All these were descendants of Keturah. Damn, Abraham got to work quickly. How did he do that? When he and Sarah gave birth to Isaac, they needed God's help. Now suddenly he's just knocking them out without a problem? And what do you think the age gap is here? If you do some quick math, Keturah had 6 kids. There's no verse here about a miracle from God, so she was probably at an age when having babies was normal. So she's young, maybe 20s, 30s. But Abraham is well over 100. I mean, I'm not judging another couple, but that's awkward. Abraham left everything he owned to Isaac. But while he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them away from his son Isaac to the land of the east. Remember Abraham's other son Ishmael? Neither does Abraham. The sons of his concubines got more than Ishmael. And who knew Abraham had a secret stash of sons lying around, courtesy of the concubines? They're not even important enough to have names. When did he have time to impregnate concubines? Was it when Sarah was around? Was Keturah one of the concubines? Abraham lived 175 years. Then Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age, an old man and full of years. And he was gathered to his people. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, near Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, the field Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There, Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who then lived near Beer Lahairoi. So much for Keturah. Nice knowing you, new wife. I'm gonna get buried near the person I actually love. If you crunch some numbers, Abraham lived 28 years after Sarah died. And in those 28 years, he met a new wife, had 6 kids, presumably met a bunch of concubines and had more kids. All when he was around 150 years old. What have you done lately? I know you're stuck at home, but you better have spawned like 3 dozen kids. Speaking of kids, it's nice to see that Ishmael came back. I'm not sure why, considering Abraham left him with nothing, but it's a nice gesture. This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Sarah's slave, Hagar the Egyptian, bore to Abraham. Really? More genealogy? I'm sorry, everyone. Don't get mad at me, I'm just the messenger. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, listed in the order of their birth. Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael. Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsan, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedema. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these are the names of the 12 tribal rulers according to their settlements and camps. Ishmael lived 137 years. He breathed his last and died, and he was gathered to his people. His descendants settled in the area from Havilah to Shur, near the eastern border of Egypt, as you go toward Asher. And they lived in hostility toward all the tribes related to them. Aw, isn't that a nice ending there? they lived in peace. No, wait, I'm kidding. His descendants all hated each other. I guess Genesis chapter 16 verse 12 was right. Ishmael really did turn into a wild donkey of a man, and he lived in hostility toward all his brothers. At least we don't have to go through the same boring family tree for Isaac. This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Isaac. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel the Aramean from Paddan Aram, and sister of Laban the Aramean. We know, we've heard all this before, more than once. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. So Rebekah couldn't have kids, but then Isaac spoke to God and poof, everything's working again? What exactly is God doing down there? And what fresh hell is happening inside of her? It's hard enough that she's having twins, but they're apparently fighting inside the womb? God must be playing a practical joke on her. Or maybe God learned his lesson with Abraham and knows you need to give parents a better incentive before you tell them to murder their children. Why is she gonna ask God about any of this? He doesn't have a medical degree. At least talk to a midwife. The Lord said to her, "2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." God always loves the younger child, even the younger twin. You know, God could have said that one twin is basically hogging the body's resources, leaving the other one weak. But instead, we get an explanation that involves geopolitics. By the way, some Bible translations say the twins will be separated from thy bowels. So even Rebekah is having butt babies. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them. Esau came out dressed like a furry, and that's why his name means furry? Is the Bible saying Esau has red hair or that he looks like a baby orangutan? Jacob came out grasping Esau's heel, which is not how twins come out, but that phrase, grasping someone's heel, has actually become a Hebrew idiom that means someone's lying. So even language doesn't like Jacob. The boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Look at that, a hunter and a herdsman. Very Cain and Abel vibe happening here. It's bad enough that the Bible is talking about these parents having a favorite child, but Isaac loved Esau more because Esau ate animal meat. I will bet you the people at PETA hate the Bible. Jacob, of course, is the mama's boy because no mother could ever love a child with red hair. That's just a biblical fact. God doesn't like Esau either. In fact, in Romans chapter 9, verse 13, God says, "Jacob I have loved, but Esau have I hated." How bad do you have to be for God to spell out his hate for you in the Bible? Once, when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country, famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." That is why he was also called Edom. We get it. Esau means red. His hair is red. He likes his stew red. Edom means red. Point made. Not sure why it's important, but point made. You know, there are times when I've been hungry, but I've never once had a craving for stew. Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." Okay, a quick lesson here. The firstborn son generally gets the bulk of his dad's inheritance. So Jacob is basically saying, "Oh, you're hungry? Well, I have some stew. I know how much you love stew. I could give it to you. But in exchange, I want everything you're gonna get after daddy dies. Whatever amount that is, I'm pretty sure it's not worth trading for stew. This is about to become one expensive meal. Look, I am about to die, Esau said. What good is the birthright to me? But Jacob said, swear to me first. So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. You have to love Esau's sarcasm here. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna die. What good is daddy's inheritance to me anyway if I'm dead? So fine, take my birthright. And when I'm dead, put your hand under my thigh all you want. This stew better be friggin' incredible. At least this chapter is ending on a cliffhanger. We had to sit through more genealogies and a very complicated pregnancy, but at least the writers finally brought in some exciting new characters and different plot lines. This is getting good.